Deadbeat, the new album from Tame Impala, goes into a much more electronic, danceable direction than we've heard from the band in the past, but it still has all the hallmarks of Kevin Parker and Tame Impala's sound, and it might be an essential listen for chill night drives going forward. I'm going to break it all down on this edition of Rock Album Review. Hey everybody, it's Nick here with you. Welcome back to the channel. Deadbeat is the fifth studio album from Tame Impala, aka Kevin Parker. It's the follow-up to 2020's The Slow Rush. I'm a big Tame Impala fan, but more of the stuff from Currents and after. I love the more electronic, neo-soul sound of the last couple of Tame Impala records, although I do love the first two records as well. I love the psychedelic rock sound from Lonerism and Inner Speaker as well. I just think that Kevin Parker is an immensely talented singer and songwriter and producer. And the fact that he does all of this stuff himself and records all the instruments himself on record, it just blows my mind. So I was very much looking forward to this new record, Deadbeat, and I'm happy to say that while I don't think yet that it's really on the level of Currents or The Slow Rush, this is still a very melodic, danceable, and catchy record with a good dose of experimentation. Kevin Parker has set a very high bar for himself with the music he's made so far in his career, and this is another stellar addition to his catalog. It has all the hallmarks of Tame Impala that we know and love, some psychedelic riffs, those high register soul-y vocals that Kevin does so well, while taking things in a very danceable direction that will make you feel like you're in a dance club. Before we continue, guys, if you like this review and you like what I'm doing here on the channel, make sure to toss me a thumbs up and a like. I'd really appreciate that. And make sure to smash the subscribe button so we can be best friends and talk about all of our favorite music here on the channel, and so you don't miss out on any future videos that I put out. So make sure to smash the subscribe button. Let's get back to it. A lot of reviews that I've seen online so far about this record say that the album leans too much into the electronic side of things, but aside from some big electronic stretches on songs like Ethereal Connection and the final track on the album, End of Summer, this still feels like a Tame Impala record that would sit nicely alongside Currents in The Slow Rush. Yes, unfortunately, if you're more of a fan of Inner Speaker and Lonerism's psychedelic rock and you're hoping that Kevin Parker would return to that sound on Deadbeat, you might be disappointed because, for better or for worse, he keeps going down the electronic music rabbit hole. That said, with all of Kevin's electronic leanings, this record features some of the most organic sounds that we've gotten yet from Kevin Parker and Tame Impala. I remember seeing a recent interview about the new record where he says he's trying to simplify the production on this album a little bit and stick to just a few key instruments on every song, and you feel that simplicity on a lot of these songs. Not to say that Tame Impala's music is ever really simple, but it feels like there are some more organic moments on this album. The first track, My Old Ways, fits more into that organic sound and has Kevin sitting at the piano with a hypnotic piano riff to kick off this song. It's the most bare that we've ever heard him on record. It has that same neo-soulish vibe of Currents and The Slow Rush, and I found it to be very hypnotic and very engaging with a killer synth solo. The two songs on Deadbeat that I think are like the most traditional Tame Impala songs are the two singles that we've heard from the record, Loner and Dracula. Well, a lot of people are saying that Kevin Parker on this record is at his most EDM. These two songs to me strike me as being the Tame Impala that we know and love. I love the chant at the beginning of Dracula. I love the lyric on this track, Daylight makes me feel like Dracula. You know what? Ditto, bro.
Daylight makes me feel like Dracula.
I can relate to Kevin Parker on this track because, you know what, I love the darkness as well. I'm always here in the rock room as a musician and a YouTuber who films inside a lot of the time with my translucent pale skin. I can relate. I love the bass line and the guitar lines that run through Loser. It reminds me of Arctic Monkeys, something they might have done on the AM album. I love the video for this song with Joe Keery from Stranger Things and, of course, his own musical project, Joe. He is a musician in his own right that is very influenced by Tame Impala. The thing about Loser is that it's almost like the famous Beck song from the 90s, that big hit Loser, but not quite. The dancey electronic EDM style sound from this record is here though. The stuff that people have been talking about. There's lots of cool Latin beats on songs like No Reply and Oblivion. I feel like the work that Kevin has been doing as a producer with artists like Dua Lipa, that sound has been working its way into his own music, and that's not a bad thing because Dua Lipa has some crazy good songs. Ethereal Connection and End of Summer in particular are very dancey dancey with big explosive beats. I guess I should have expected some EDM stuff after I saw the runtimes for these two songs. They're both 7+ minutes long, and they're the kind of songs that made me wonder, like, where's my ecstasy and where are my glow sticks? Both songs almost had some like video game music vibes to them. They went full on dance club. This is definitely the most dancey EDM that Tame Impala has ever gone. I don't really know if I love these kind of tracks. They're very repetitive. I still think they're a cool experiment, but for fans of Tame Impala who are hoping that Kevin Parker would go back to the psychedelic rock sound of the first two records, I think you're probably going to hate this. And I'm not necessarily a huge fan of this kind of music either. I'm not much of a dance or EDM guy. These tracks, like I said, can get a little repetitive, a little long in the tooth, but aside from these two key tracks, I really didn't feel like there was too much glow stick action happening on this record, despite most reviews saying it leans too heavily into that style. Afterthought also has a big dancey feel to it, but more in line with songs like Is It True from the Slow Rush, which makes it a little bit more accessible than songs like Ethereal Connection or End of Summer. That was the biggest influence that I noticed on this song, which was Tame Impala itself, Kevin Parker influencing Kevin Parker, and I love that song on the Slow Rush, and I think this song, Afterthought, is a nice companion piece. I also felt a huge Radiohead influence on this record. I'm not sure if anybody else felt that, but from some of the beats on certain tracks to the use of certain synth sounds on songs like Ethereal Connection or Oblivion or Not My World, there were a lot of moments on this album that reminded me of records like Kid A, which is a very big compliment. And this is not a guitar-heavy record by any stretch of the imagination, but as usual, the synths on this album are next level. Kevin Parker knows his way around a keyboard. There's a killer synth part on My Old Ways. There's a classic Tame Impala slidey synth bass groove in songs like Obsolete and Afterthought. I know that's not a great way to describe it, but you'll know it when you hear it. It's something like that we'd hear on songs like Let It Happen and The Less I Know, The Better. However, there are a couple of tracks on Deadbeat that didn't quite do it for me yet. I'm sure they're going to grow on me in time. After the epic EDM dance fest of Ethereal Connection, you have a song called See You on Monday, You're Lost. I felt like that track fell a bit flat in comparison, even though it did remind me of something like Paul McCartney might write back in his Wings days. And Piece of Heaven, for all of its 80s pop flourishes, also seems like a track that has to grow on me over time, although I did feel a big influence on this song from the track by INXS called Never Tear Us Apart. Let me know if you thought of that influence as well in the comments. The biggest thing that I enjoyed about this record, and the biggest thing that I enjoy most about Tame Impala's music, is that this is a great night drive album. I'm all about the vibes, and Tame Impala is a huge part of my night drive playlist. And you know what? This album has lots of tracks that will sit well among my favorite night drive tracks from Currents and the Slow Rush. I love the nighttime vibes on songs like Dracula, Loser, Obsolete, and Afterthought. And I still absolutely love Kevin Parker's songwriting and vocal performances on this record. He's got such a distinct vocal sound. My partner Danielle actually made a really cool point. She said that Kevin has a low speaking voice when you hear him in interviews. We were watching the Zane Lowe interview from Apple Music yesterday. He's always got this really low voice when you hear him in interviews, but always sings in higher registers and a really awesome falsetto, and that has always been such a distinctive part of the Tame Impala sound. Overall, I really liked Deadbeat, and I feel like it's an album that's going to continue to grow on me over time. I've seen some criticisms that it's not as strong or as cohesive as Currents or The Slow Rush, but those are two of the best albums of the last decade or so. That's a very, very high bar to me. So the fact that he even gets even close to that on this album is a testament to Kevin Parker's talent. Will it please everybody? Will it please all the Tame Impala fans out there? I'm going to say no, because Kevin Parker and Tame Impala have several different genres that he's explored over the years, and every fan has their own version of Tame Impala that they like best. But I certainly liked it. Maybe not every moment of all the dancey tracks, but there are several moments on here that are among Kevin Parker's best, and I feel like this one is a grower. I can't wait to spin it on a night drive around the city and lose myself in all the cool synths and sounds. There's lots of sonic Easter eggs on here to enjoy. I'm going to give Deadbeat by Tame Impala a solid 4 out of 5. Favorite tracks from me on Deadbeat were No Reply, Dracula, Loser, Oblivion, Obsolete, and Afterthought. And that is it, guys. That is my rock album review for the new album from Tame Impala called Deadbeat. Now it's your turn. Hop into the comments below and let me know what you thought of the new record from Tame Impala. If you like this video, make sure to toss me a thumbs up and a like. I'd very much appreciate that. If you like what I'm doing here on the channel, make sure to smash the subscribe button so you don't miss out on future videos. But I'll see you guys again for another rock album review here on the channel. Until then, rock on, everybody.